Do not let someone take that power away from you. Do not let someone trample on your confidence, because you are worthy and you are worth everything that you want. You deserve everything that you want. Like, just focus on yourself. Make yourself a better person that you want to be.
We're so excited. We have Alyssa Durante here with us today. We can't wait to dive into this conversation. We discuss a lot of things about education and the roller coaster ride that it can take us on, and the different ways that it interacts with other aspects in our lives. So welcome, Alyssa. We're so excited that you're here with us. If you could just give our listeners a little introduction, tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll get right into it.
Hi, my name's Alyssa. I am 28 years old. I am currently a nanny. Not the biggest fan of this job right now. I've been a preschool teacher for 10 years and then moved to DSP for individuals with disabilities, and then I switched to nannying. But now I'm trying to finish my education in psychology and hopefully working with adolescents from there.
So I know coming out of high school, you did go to college directly, right?
Yes. 2010, I graduated. I was just graduating Pet Med, and then from there, I was going to the College of St. Rose in Albany. It wasn't the best experience. Coming from a sheltered lifestyle on Long Island, or it just could have been my upbringing, but I wasn't really exposed to like the socialization aspect of your adolescence. I was like introverted, and my parents were very strict, and I wasn't allowed to go out. I wasn't allowed to do many things. So when I got to college, it was like free range. On top of having a newly diagnosed mental illness that I was also trying to manage with my medications. My second week of college, I wound up with alcohol poisoning because of the medications and alcohol. So that was Albany in a nutshell.
Fun time.
Yes. But it was a journey, because I did have my mental illness and I did have a lot of navigating to do. I didn't last, the 4 years there. I went for a year, came back home, met a guy, and then I went to Suffolk Community College to try to finish my degree. This said guy basically said, well, if you want to live together, you need to choose school or work. So me being my 20-year-old self or 19-year-old self, I was like, all right, well, I love you, so I'm gonna work. Big mistake. Never put a man before your education, ever. God, no. So from there, it was a lot of mess. It was a very abusive relationship for 2 years. And I lost my self-esteem for a really long time with school. Like, that was like the last thing on my mind. I had no confidence for years. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't have a good support system. I was just on a downward spiral. And then, my third attempt at college was, I want to say, about 4 years ago. And I was feeling good. I was feeling positive. I had a good support system backing me. But the first day of classes, my best friend passed away. So that threw everything off. That threw me back into a downward spiral. So, school was just always, for whatever reason, just kept getting pushed back. And I think just the universe wanted me to learn these lessons first and help me build my confidence. I had to go through years of therapy and to get that confidence back. And then I met my boyfriend not too long after my friend passed. I kind of got myself together in a way, and I grew a lot with him, really matured. I found a really good support system of friends that I never had before. They weren't like the partiers or the drinkers, the smokers. They were just like introverted people like myself. They were just, very supportive, and, but at the same time, they all had degrees. So I found myself comparing myself to them and, their master's degrees, and, and one was starting a doctorate program. So I was feeling a little envious. They always say don't compare yourself to other people because, we know how that story ends, and it just makes you feel really bad about yourself. So it was just taking like a hit on my confidence and my self-esteem, but they pushed me to go back to school. Mm-hmm. They said, Alyssa, you can do this. You can do this. You have a dream. You need to do this. Mm-hmm. And I was very anxious starting. I remember talking to my counselor, at my college for like about 2 hours on the phone because I was so anxious. And she's like, you have the confidence, you can do this, you can do this. And I just needed that like reassurance, that affirmations that I can do this, and my confidence was there. So I did go back to school. Now I'm with SNHU, and I've been thriving there. But I took some hits to friendships within, the get-going of college. But, I'm so happy that I went back. And, like, now I'm, like, so matured in the mind, and I have my mental illness under control. More manageable, I guess you'd say. Mm-hmm. I still make impulse buys, but it's nowhere near as buying a car that those kind of impulse buys anymore. Smaller ones, like a pillow at Target. But school, I've been doing great, and I'm really achieving a lot. I've been maintaining a 4.0 for
that's amazing.
4 semesters so far. My professors are great. They give me so much confidence. My partner has been great. We have hit turbulence, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it went from we spent all the time together to whatever free time I had. I was, locked myself away in the bedroom for hours. And we wouldn't see each other, and he works like 6-7 days a week, so we just never saw each other anymore. And like trying to find that balance and restore it again has still been a challenge,
Yeah, that's tough. That's a big change. And, like you said before, you were, whenever he was home, you were there. You were available,
Yes, exactly.
So it's tough to go then to...
and I think what hit me the most was like when he told me that he just feels unloved. Well, after a lot of teeth pulling, because men, they express themselves in a different way, and you kind of just have to be like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Why are you being such an a-hole? Like, I don't know where this is coming from. And he's like, I just miss you, And I was like, is that so hard to say?
Ding, ding, ding.
Answer given.
Yes.
A couple of simple words.
Thank you.
Yes. It totally made me feel really bad. And, like, it was a reality check that, like, okay, maybe I'm putting too much focus on school and not managing my time better. So it's just, I've been trying to, like, take my laptop to work and do reading there. I mean, it's not easy with 4 kids at work, but I try. I'll give them Play-Doh and like I'll just read for, I don't know, they last for 15 minutes.
Yeah, those are the little time periods and windows that you learn to take advantage of as a student.
I'm making them lunch, they're watching a movie, I'm reading. Yes. So we actually were in couples counseling. We are in couples counseling, but not for like any major issues, just more like how to restore that balance, how to manage our time better, because he works 7 days a week, so he also needs to find the time and it's all about prioritizing what's important to you.
Right.
Yes, school is like extremely important to me. I feel like I deserve this so badly. I deserve every bit of an education. But I also need to keep in mind that my partner is suffering as well, and like he has emotions, and he deserves to feel loved too, and not forgotten about or on the back burner at all. You know, even like with like family life, you know, my parents like, where are you? Come over to this barbecue. I'm just like, I can't. I have homework to do.
Yeah.
But like, it's paid off. You know, I'm like, you know, missing a few barbecues. It's not a big deal. You know.
Right. And it's not a forever thing. When you're in school, it's like, okay, there's an end in sight. Like we're working towards a goal here, and when I get there, there'll be benefits.
I mean, right now I'm only part-time, which with SNHU, their semesters are 8 weeks long. So for that 8 weeks, I'm doing one class. Their full-time is 2 classes. If you want to take on 3, you have to get approved. And you have to like have like a certain GPA for like X amount of time. Whoever does 3 classes within 8 weeks is clearly a sociopath.
I agree.
God, no. And I'm actually, we're considering going full-time. We, as in, yes, me and my partner, because we need to agree on it. You know, we need to, it's not like I live by myself, I'm thinking about myself, you know, because if I was, I would just be like, all right, I'm just going to do the full-time, you know, but like, I need to take, you know, his feelings into consideration about it, and, if I'll be overwhelmed, because sometimes I do get really, really overwhelmed and like stressed out. You know, last night I was doing homework and there was like a question I didn't understand, and I just kept rereading the paragraph in the article over and over again. But I'm also trying to spend time with him, even if that means just sitting on the couch while he watches TV. But at one point I was just like, I need to go in the bedroom. Is that okay with you? He's like, that's fine. Like, do what you need to do. And I was like, okay, good. And as soon as I went in there, I was able to like decompress and knock out this assignment within an hour. So like,
sometimes you just need that like
the space physically.
Exactly.
I just need to close myself off to the world for an hour, and then we're okay. We're good. Sometimes it's a few hours, which is the problem. But like also like giving myself breaks has been really hard. That I've been struggling with. You know, I've talked to a bunch of online students, and they always say, reward yourself. Always reward yourself. Like, do your homework for X amount of hours. Make it like 2 hours of homework. But then stop right after that 2 hours. Don't do any more. And then go do something you enjoy, which is, you know, crafting, being outside, walking the dog, something. You know, so mine is napping.
Whatever works.
Mine is napping. Mine is napping, and sometimes crafting if I have the energy to. Or just like rearranging my whole house, because I also do that too. That's what fun. I do in my spare time is I move the furniture around a bunch of times. So that's like, I've been struggling with that, but you know, because Mike came to me, he's like, you've been really, really overwhelmed. You know, you need to make more time for things you enjoy. And for me, I'm just like, well, I have a goal I need to reach. And he's like, well, you're not going to reach that goal if you burn yourself out so fast.
Sure.
That's what I tell Lance all the time. He does the same thing. He's like, work. And he comes home from work yesterday. We were going to a barbecue. He comes home and he just literally like fell on the bed and was like, I'm done. So done. And I was like, see, you need to like give yourself a break. And then, of course, he's getting up this morning and going to work. I'm like, you need to breathe. He did go in later today, but like...
I tell Mike that too sometimes. It's like, you need a break.
Cause I feel like when you become hyper-focused like that on your goal, it's just like, sometimes becomes tunnel vision. And it's very difficult to get out of that tunnel, even in the slightest, for a moment. When someone from the outside is telling you, it's like, take a break. Actually take a whole entire 24 hours to take a break. That's what that means. And it's not just like, oh, I didn't do anything for 4 hours. That's a break. No, like give yourself an entire break to really decompress and connect with other things so that your mind can chill for a minute, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And there's a lot of anxiety in that too, like in just being 100% focused on that goal all the time, because you're so afraid that you're going to like veer off the slightest bit,
Yes.
and everything's gonna fall apart.
And you know what heightened that anxiety is like? The other day, I was talking to my counselor about, my advisor about my anticipated graduation date. She said if I continue doing part-time, it won't be till 2025 I'll be graduating. And I was like, ha, that's really funny.
Not sound.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
And then I asked her, okay, well, what if I start full-time in January? She's like, all right, well, that's 2023. I'm like, well, that knocks 2 years off.
Yeah.
She's like, well, even. And she's like, Alyssa, if you started full-time in our September to October semester, you'll be graduating by the end of 2022. So that, like, really made me tunnel vision, though, because I was like, I need to focus. You know, if I'm going to take on 2 classes a semester now, I'm going to be doing double the work, and I'm trying to, like, manage the time. I'm trying to make time for myself. I'm also trying to, like, maintain a house with 2 psychotic dogs, you know, which is not easy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, my dogs are very hyperactive and acquire a lot of attention.
Yeah.
So it's just like those things that those are like the struggles there with like the anxiety and being overwhelmed and trying to like just take a break and breathe for a minute. Sometimes I just have to step away. I'll force myself not to do any homework for 24 hours.
Yeah.
And it's the worst.
Yeah,
Because I
tough.
feel like I'm going to fall behind. I always do that. I feel like I'm going to fall behind, and that's like my biggest fear is I don't want to fall behind.
Yeah.
In anything. And, you know, I was late one assignment like last semester, and I was like freaking out about it.
Yeah.
And my professor's like, it's fine. We're in the middle of a pandemic. It's okay.
Yeah.
I was like, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for understanding.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like people are so much more understanding than, like, we give them credit for.
Yeah.
Like, you don't expect anyone to, like, accommodate you, but, like, if you ask or you just, like, talk to somebody 90% of the time, and this is, I mean, even, we say this all the time, even with the podcast, like, people are so willing to help you and like, support you and do whatever needs to be done to, like, help you succeed. And sometimes you just have to, like, remember that. Like, wait a second, this person is here to help, especially in the context of school. Like, they're there for you to succeed. Like, that's their purpose.
And I always, like, I don't ask for help at all. I'm just not the person who asks for help, and then when I need help, I don't ask for it. I jump around it. So that's also my, you know, the struggle, you know, of just, like, I think I could take on everything, you know, which is, like, I can't take on everything, and it's going to burn me out, and I experienced that, like, 2 weeks ago, where I was, like, just dead for the week, like, just energy level gone. I was miserable. I was hot. It was very hot 2 weeks ago, and it was just, like, you know, I burnt myself out. I was just crying every day. I felt so unbelievably stressed. And that's when Mike, like, literally took my laptop away and was like, you're not doing homework for 24 hours. I'm like, well, I still have an app.
You can't take my phone. I need that.
Don't you dare. Check that app. It's like, you only check it if you get a grade. I was like, okay, deal. That's fine. I'll check it if I get a grade. That's fine. Fine.
It's hard because I don't know. I think a lot of times when we want to do so much with ourselves, we develop a lot of shame around not doing all the things too. It's like, well, why can't I do more? Yeah. And it all comes back to taking care of yourself. If you're able to learn how to take care of yourself well enough that you can perform at an optimal level, then you'll be able to do a little bit more of what you want to be doing, you know?
Yeah, of course.
But you gotta keep, like, blockers on that, too, and know when to stop and relax for a little bit. It's part of the taking care of yourself piece, you know?
Yeah.
Nothing works if you don't have the foundation right.
Definitely. And, you know, like the support system, you know, I never had like this good of a support system before. I mean, people come and go out of the support system, but then I realized who has been there since day one in that support system, who really matters.
Yeah.
You know, like, yes, you know, my best friends and I, we see each other maybe once every other month. But that's adult friendships, you know.
Yes.
We have really busy lives, and, like, you know, we'll FaceTime or, like, you know, a quick text. You know, my friend works night shift, so she'll be texting me, like, all night when I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
I wake up to like 20 memes and texts every morning. I'm like, oh, okay.
So-and-so had work tonight.
yes. I'm like, okay, Sam, you were really born on your overnight shift. You woke up to 20 memes. Awesome. Appreciate it. But it's just like, you know, the support system factor was so important for me, like, on this journey, because I never had a support system when I started. My parents, it was a lot of conditional love growing up.
Okay.
And they were never, like, in my corner always. It was like, I'll be in your corner but if you do this, and it's just, growing up was, there was a lot of pressure for college, especially on me. I'm the oldest of three, and there was all the pressure on me. I had to be the first one to go to college in the family, and thank God my other cousin Cynthia was the first one who did. She took that pressure off. Thank you. Thank you so much.
She's got, her PhD now? My goodness, that girl.
She literally helped. I should probably finish saying this, but she literally helped me write one of my final assignments. She's like, she does, she has her PhD. She's into the research part, and I was like, yo, I need your help.
Cynthia coming in clutch.
Yeah, so I sent her everything, and she's like, here's my brain dump. I was like, oh my God, this makes so much more sense. She's like, also, your professor's really incompetent, and this assignment made 0 sense. No wonder why you're confused. I was like, thank you.
I'm not the only one who feels this way.
No, this professor talked in some, very hippie, unconsciousness, collective lingo that I don't think any of my classmates understood. His feedback was 3 paragraphs long, and you had to decipher it.
Oh gosh!
What does this mean?
You're speaking in code, speaking English.
Tell me I did a really good job, and let's move on.
Just keep it point blank. This is what I felt. Thank you.
I love when it's they'll give you an A, but there's a million comments, and you're like. But I got an A, right?
What's all this for?
My professor right now, she'll leave questions for me, and I feel like I really like that because it's things that somebody had another thought about, and it allows me to know that and to contemplate those things as I move on to the next assignment. I'll be like, oh, well, this is great, but what about this, and this with that? So it allows your mind to go in a few different directions with those comments. I like the comments. But.
And I feel like the idea of that especially a master's degree is one thing. I feel like a lot of times if professors do that in an undergrad, especially for someone just out of high school, that can be so intimidating because you're like, but wait, I thought I did good, and then you have all of these questions and comments and things, and it's
stuff you never got before in high school.
It's not that type of structure in high school.
I could see it being so confusing.
So different. It's so different. I mean, the class I'm currently taking, I really like it. It's a Science 100 course, so it's basically 8th grade science again. Which also was just is this college level?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure.
I found that a lot in college,
yeah. I'm learning about plate tectonics again. Are we really doing this? Okay. But I definitely have been acing this course, but it's just a different structure than what I was used to, and I was never taught any of this, and I feel like in high school they don't really prepare you for that aspect of college where you're gonna be a little bit more criticized for your work. Yeah. They warn you, oh, you can't do that in college.
Yeah.
I can go to the
bathroom
in college.
I don't need a hall pass.
I can go to the bathroom. Excuse me.
Also, some of it is a complete lie. They're you're not going to be able to do this in college, and you're just
it's when they told us
I am.
Did a calculator our whole life.
Yeah. Right.
I can have my phone on my desk in college.
And at work, I'm an accountant. What's the first thing I have right there is an adding machine, all day long.
All day long.
If I have 10 plus 10, I throw it in my adding machine just to make sure I'm not crazy.
I mean, I don't remember high school having a college, not introduction class, but
Like college prep.
A college prep class, yeah. I don't know. I feel like some of my AP friends and honor student friends had a little bit more of a leverage on it.
I was just going to say that, yeah. Like,
I was
feel
not
like
AP or honors. I was like a good B student.
I feel like those were the only courses that prepared me for learning how to study as a college student. Were the AP courses and honors courses. Being able to, like, know how to write an outline of a long-ass chapter in a social studies textbook. And
those were the absolute worst.
But honestly, it gave me the best study skills. They were so annoying to do, and having them for homework was even worse.
Ugh.
But outline these 5 chapters in 2 nights.
Like what?
Excuse me?
Why? How? But now I think that that's given me the ability to teach my kids how to do stuff like that on like more elementary level.
Of course. I mean, I don't think you're gonna like make them read like, you know, documents of, you know, understand documents and translate this.
Yeah, just learning how to like take notes on something or like,
And it's helped me a lot in the professional world,
pick out
too.
the important pieces.
Yeah, exactly. Being able to pick out the important pieces of stuff and learning that back in high school, I think has carried over a lot through college and then, like I said, professional life and now parenting. It's just...
You were always a good studier, though. I was not. I was not a good
studier.
studier at all.
I had to be. If I was going to get A's and I was going to be in AP classes, I needed to be a great studier because school didn't come easy for me.
No, school didn't come easy. Well, my parents say it came easy for me, but when they look at my brother, it came easy for me compared to my siblings.
Okay.
You know? So it's like, it didn't really come easy for me, guys. Like, I just knew how to, like, study, but, like, you know, as far as, like, my brother had ADHD since he was, like, 5 years old, and like you know, my sister had a auditory learning disability since she was like 3. So like it never came easy. It was just like, I guess I had that leg up on them in a way where
you didn't have those roadblocks.
Yes, I didn't have those roadblocks to like get over. I mean, yes, in high school I did get diagnosed with, you know, bipolar disorder and navigate that as like a 16-year-old was like really rough. And then like you don't have like, you have your parents like disagreeing with the doctor. Like, so that wasn't it was just like, it was really hard to navigate all of that. And then going into college from there was really rough. Not great.
You said you went to college for a year, right, at St. Rose. How did you make that decision to come back? What was that like? And what was it like actually coming back?
Well, my parents really couldn't afford the school anymore.
Okay.
And they were like, we hoped you could get more scholarships and stuff and more grants, and that didn't really pan out because I didn't do that well.
Okay.
I had a really, really rough time during college. I had friends and everything, like I still talk to now, but it wasn't like the best environment for 18-year-old just diagnosed me, you know, trying to navigate and trying to take medication seriously, and like, but like also I'm like, I want to be a part of this whole college culture at the same time, because it's such like an ingrained thing where like, you know, they're like, you have to participate in kegs and eggs or you're not a college student.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So it was just like, I want to be like in that culture as well, but like, you know, I was irresponsible with my medications. Like, I didn't really understand like the effects that could cause mixing alcohol with them, you know, and but like coming back home, I was really, really sad. I was really, really sad. I was disappointed in myself. My parents were disappointed. I felt like everyone was just disappointed in me. Like, everyone just, like, hated me. Like, it was just, it was rough. And I, like, moved out of my parents' house when I came home. I was home for a little bit and then moved back out because it was just, like, not the best environment to be in. But then, you know, like from there, just trying to get my life together and trying to like manage just mental illness on top of like trying to figure out what I want to do in life. Because, like, I changed my major 3 times in that course of the 1 year I was there.
Oh, God.
I went from early childhood to social studies 7 through 12 to psychology. I changed it 3 times.
It's so crazy of a concept to even think that you're supposed to decide what you want to do for the rest of your life when you're 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's why that's such a common thing for so many people. It's like, oh, I like this. Oh, but I like that. Oh, but I like this too.
Yes.
How do I do all of these things? Oh, just kidding. You don't pick one.
So
let me get like a major, a minor, a this, a that, and the
Of
other thing, and
course.
double major, and then I'm gonna just overwhelm myself and drop out.
Yeah.
Like that's what happens to so many of these
Not many
poor
people
kids.
do college the way that I did, where it was like I went for accounting, I graduated with accounting, and then I went for my master's in accounting, and that's it.
Well,
Now I'm done.
That was
But, like,
me. Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like we just have rare experiences with that. Yeah.
Yeah. But most people do that. And that's why the average person graduates college in not 4 years, but like 4.5, 5 years.
Yeah,
because
that would be 5 years. I mean, like, I know, you know, it was overwhelming at 18 trying to make a decision, and here I am at 28. Like, I have to think about a master's program now because I'm like almost halfway through my undergrad, and I'm like, oh my God, this is even more overwhelming than my undergrad. Like, wow, okay.
So what was the process like actually getting to this, I know what I want to do now and I have like a clear picture of what I want to go for?
So with that, I didn't want to teach anymore. I was teaching, 3-year-olds for 10 years, and I knew I just needed to move on from that. I felt like I had a bigger purpose in life to fulfill. I don't feel as fulfilled as I used to. I used to be so passionate about my job. I loved it, no matter, even making below the poverty line, I still loved my job. And I, now I've just come to terms with, this is not what I want to do. Like, I want to help other children in, traumatic situations.
Okay.
I want to be like a resource to the community, rather than what I'm currently doing. So that was like really the driving factor, and like that was really what changed my mind completely. And I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to get, I want to finish my undergrad in psychology. I want to, I'm pretty sure I'm going to go for a master's in social work.
Okay.
So that's what I want to do. I feel like I could be such more of a resource to people. And, I've been told by other social worker friends, like, we need more people like you in the field because you have such a big heart, like, you could do this, like, you would be really good at it. And, like, that was just, that little bit of a confidence boost, like, really just helped, affirm and, like, confirm it,
It's great to hear from somebody that, like, you have a quality that is very useful in the field that you feel like you want to go into. So it's very validating to hear something like that you've chosen something that naturally works for your personality, and that's recognized by other people in the field you're going into. I
mean, like, I want to work with young children, but I mostly want to work with adolescents. I don't want adolescents to fall through the cracks. I want to see them succeed, and like, not like your guidance counselor, like, not like that, more like, I want to make sure their emotional needs are also met as their mental needs are met. I don't want them just like give them like a college pamphlet and, maybe a tech school or something instead, because your GPA isn't good. I want to make sure like their emotional needs are met. And whatever situation they're going through, I want to be there and like help them through that and support them, and their family, So I think that's like what really drove me to like, that was just like the big light bulb, really. The big light bulb, and like just watching a lot of really sad documentaries, really sad documentaries where I was like, something needs to be done about this system. Something needs to change. I could be part of that change.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's how I went vegan. I watched like 10 sad documentaries, and I was like, well, we're done with this.
We're done with this.
Throw all the meat and It's out of the house, Mike. Get it out. Get it out. Oh my god. But yeah, so like that was the driving force of like what I really want to do, and I'm really happy like the path I'm going down, and I know I have that bigger purpose. I know I'm going to be able to help people. And I don't want to be like me, you know. I never wanted to be like that. I always want to put the child first, you know. And like that's my also issue. Like I have attachment issues to children that aren't mine either.
Yeah.
So I do. I mean, like after every class I taught and they moved up, I'd be bawling like a baby. Or like, you know, if a nanny family didn't need me anymore, I would cry because I'm raising someone else's kids, and it just feels like a lifeline just got cut off, and it's really, really cruddy. But like I feel like that aspect is like a blessing and a curse in a way where I can be so emotionally invested in a job like that, you know, where I can be. I'm allowed to be emotionally invested into someone like that, and like I think that's what I need.
Yeah.
I'm a very emotional person, and I have a issue where I just get too attached to the kids I work with. Work for snacks.
Right away.
2-year-old, he really does tell me what to do half the time. Let's be real.
It's okay, so does mine. I think they all do. They all do.
The kids are the real bosses.
Yes. Or one of the twins, they'll be talking. He'll be talking in the bathroom like, Hunter, you need anything? I'm not talking to you, Lissa. I'm talking to iPad. Like,
okay.
He's trying to like squeeze one out. iPad. Okay. You do you.
Do your thing.
Okay. Thought you needed help. We're good. Joys of children.
They're great.
Which is another thing is like my mindset has totally changed, you know, since I started school. You know, I never was like about having kids. I was like, I'm going to have them like, I'm going to be that 40-year-old mom with an infant. Like, that's going to be me. I never really thought about buying a house. You know, I was like, buying a house is a scam. Yes, it is. But for whatever reason in American culture, it's just like an achievement. So like ever since I started going back to school in January, my mindset totally changed. I'm like, Mike, we need to like get our credit scores together.
I want to buy a house.
He's like, I've been doing this the whole time. What have you been doing? I'm like, wow.
I got some catching up to do.
I do. I'm working on it. But, and like the thought of kids, I'm just like, all my mom friends are so cool, and like I always feel like the odd one out when they all hang out with their kids. I'm like, man, where's my kid? My dog next time. Dang, my dog's 10 months. We'll get right in there. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's just,
it does change your perspective,
it
though.
It totally does. Like, it totally like, matured me in a way. Like, you know, I'm honestly terrified of birth, but I do.
It's a terrifying thing. Rightfully so.
It is so scary. And that's like something else I did. It was like I was a doula for a short amount of time until I actually witnessed like a terrible birth, and then I was like, I'm
done with this.
That's enough.
First birth I was there for was amazing. Probably the best outcome. The second one, I was like, I can't do this. It was just so emotional. It was really sad, and like the baby had to go to the NICU really like right away, and I was just like, Mom was crying. Oh my god! I was like, this is whew. It's a lot. I was like, I'm a special person to do this job.
I was gonna say that takes a very specific person to be able to do something.
And
like
I was
that.
just like, yeah, okay. I'm like, we're done with this. I spent $600 on the certification.
And especially like you think about like the doctors and stuff is one thing, but like being a doula, like you're so much more. I feel like emotionally involved in everything. So
it's not
like,
really so much the medical side. It's more just being that emotional support and like the guide and like you know all the things that they want to know.
And like, the doctor like, okay, you know, baby's not not great. I know exactly what to do. I'll bring them to the NICU, you know, all this stuff. Like, hook them up to this, do this and that.
Imagine mom,
and
dad,
you're there.
Parents.
Yeah.
Kids that are there. It's, Like, you know, just doula for mom, and, like, you do it for, like, the whole family.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I was like, wow, this is really
A
overwhelming.
Yeah.
A lot of emotions going around.
Yeah.
I just feel like you've done, like, so many things to tap into your purposes and your interests in life. So do you think that there's been any common theme throughout that that's allowed you to get much more aligned with your different levels of your purpose and where you want to be and what the vision is?
I know I want to help people. That it was just the common thread between it all. I'm like, oh, I love pregnant women. They're great.
I'll help them.
Babies are awesome. Yeah, like, you know, I was really into, like, the holistic side of life for a while there, and then that dropped off. But yeah, like, I've tried to, like, get into, like, so many different areas, you know, and it really just, like, all came back, and I was just like, I finally found what I want to do, and it all, like, kind of all combines together in a weird thread, you know. I'm just like, all right, well, I work with children, you know, the doula thing, I mean, I can take away the emotional aspects of it, I can take away the knowledge I learned, I can take away, like, the patience I've learned, and how to speak up for people, because you're advocating for someone, so, you know, that is what I also took away from that job. Being a lead preschool teacher, you know, I had to be a leader. I had to be a leader of, like, other preschool teachers and, like, you know, manage a classroom of 14 3-year-olds. So, you know, all these little experiences have really led up to what I want to do. And it really shows that the common thread is, like, I want to be able to put my heart out there without the, I guess, kickbacks, I guess you'd put it. I don't know. Like, I always felt, like, weird, because, like, everyone would be like, oh, you're, like, so attached to your job, or whatever, and, like,
okay.
I want to be able to, like, have that investment, you know, in my job.
Yeah, where it's, like, expected.
And not have it be weird.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. We're, like, you just looking at me like I'm crying on the last day of my, like, work, and I'm just like, well, I guess I have to find a new job now, because all your kids are grown up in school. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Yeah, so, since I started college back in January, so it's only been 7 months, I was inducted into a National Honor Society. I've gotten an offer with a local organization for an internship next year. I don't have to do it, but it will knock out a few college electives that I don't care to take. So
You will probably end up doing it. Yeah.
Yes. So it's just, like, opened so many doors already. And that part of, like, the college survival guide that you guys did really resonated with me. And then, like, the portion of the friends, because I didn't really make best friends in college, you know. I do talk to some of the people still, you know, but, like, not best friends, you know, not at all.
Yeah.
It was just, we were so young, and it was so different, and I was only there a year, so, like, I didn't really get to solidify that friendship, you know, where I know a lot of people I know there who did, and they're best friends still.
Right.
You know, and, like, that's the one thing I miss, though. That's the one factor I miss, is, like, the socialization part of school.
Yeah.
Because it can get lonely. And, like, I just, you know, I'm always, like, reaching out to, like, my other SNHU friends who live on the island. I'm like, oh, you want to study soon or something? Like, I miss that part of college where there was a socialization feel. Like, even just, like, going to the cafeteria. Like, you just hang out with people and just, like, wait till your next class starts. And, like, you know, just meet strangers all the time.
Yeah, there was just, like, always people around, and, like, no matter what you were doing, like, there's always somebody there doing it too.
Yeah, you're physically in a space where people have something in common with you, and you know it, that everybody who walks past you has something in common and some sort of understanding of what you're going through, and there's a lot of power of energy in that.
I
felt like every time, like, we had because I was in marching band, we had a band space, we called it, so it was basically this room where we could all hang out. We nobody had access to it except for us. So we would go in there, and there was usually, like, a core group of people that hung out in there a lot. But I just remember, like, every time I would walk in there, like, whatever look I had on my face or whatever, like, everyone got it.
Everyone got
it. You'd walk in and you'd be like, oh, you had a rough class, didn't you? Or, like, oh, you woke up late this morning. Like, everyone just, like, knew and got it and understood.
Or, like, I have to explain to Mike, he's like, you look stressed, babe. Are you alright? I'm like, oh, if you knew.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he did a little college, but he built his career for the past 15 years. So, like, he didn't have to do this whole 4-year undergrad and then, you know, master's. Like, he doesn't understand that aspect. It's just like, I only see my dogs, you know, all the time. Just like, I wish you guys were people.
Yeah.
Wish you could
understand. Speak to
me. I know. And like, I'm just like, come on, guys. That's like one aspect I do miss of like doing non-traditional school is the socialization part and like the connections you meet. I mean, yeah, I'm making connections virtually, which is cool and awesome, you know, but I'm also like, I miss people. I miss physical contact, and I think more than ever, I miss physical contact with people.
Right now.
You know?
It's like, moral of the story right now.
When you asked me, I was like, you want to do it in person? I was like, yes, I'll come in person.
Yes. There's
We're all
something
starving
about
for
being
that.
able to, like, make actual eye contact with people and not be, like, looking into your screen and trying to constantly look at a camera on a Zoom call or, like, whatever it is.
Well, we've just noticed through the different kinds of recordings we've done, like, the in-person ones flow so much better.
Oh, yeah.
Just because, like, you're just here. Like, you can look me in the eye and, like, we can, like, react to each other's, like, facial expressions, and it's just,
more
like...
jive.
It's
I was,
just...
like, super anxious.
Yeah, and you, like, you've mentioned before, too, like, you're sharing energy. Like, we're in, like, a space together, and, like, you share, to a certain extent, like, you share your energy.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, there's something to be said about that with school, and I think that probably plays in a lot to why a lot of people end up becoming, like, best friends with their roommates and all that stuff. Or, like, totally hating each other and ripping each other's heads off. Because, like, you're physically in that space together.
My college roommates. Okay. So, my first year of college, my college roommates, I was in a triple. So, I had 2 roommates.
So fun.
It was really small, tiny room. I was not a fan of being in a triple. One of my roommates, she missed her boyfriend too much. So, after the first semester, she left. I loved her because we loved the same bands and we hung out all the time. Like, I really liked her, but she missed her boyfriend too much. They actually broke up, like, not too long after she got back. And I was like, oh no, come back.
Yeah, it's far too common of a story.
Yeah. I mean, at 20, I'm not going to go move out of my house to go live with a stranger.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely not going to do that. You know, but I miss that aspect a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I just having that common thread with someone because, like, we both have the same goal and we can both push each other to that goal.
Right.
You know, I don't really have, like, any other friends I know that are in my situation.
Right.
At all. Either, like, my friends are stay-at-home moms or they just, like, have their own, like, self-employed business or something, or they already have, like, their their degrees and, like, they're, like, high up in their careers already.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm like, ooh, like, that envy, like, oh, it burns a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's, like, something else. I'm just like, don't compare yourself. We are all on our own journeys.
Yeah.
I had to go through these experiences for a reason.
Yeah.
I definitely had to go through these reasons, like, these experiences for something, and this is what I had to go through them for.
Yeah.
100%. I had to, like, leave that abusive relationship. I had to gain my confidence back. I had to go to therapy for, like, 15 years. But it's just, like, you know, I had to, like, learn to deal with my parents because, you know, I never got that acceptance growing up, and I still don't, and I still search for that approval, but, like, I'm learning to accept I'm never going to get that approval that I want.
Mm-hmm.
You know, on Facebook, yes, but in person, no. It's very weird. It's very strange. very, very strange. And my parents don't listen to podcasts, so they'll never hear this. Literally ever. Ever. So I'm just like, whatever. Like, they don't like podcasts.
Yeah. What you need to say. Get it out.
Yeah. I mean, I always find that so weird how, like, you, especially when you know what's going on the inside, and you, like, scroll through Facebook and you see all these things that's like, what? No. Like, that's, like, that is so not true.
Your Facebook authentic to your life.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. And sometimes I just feel like people feel obligated to post these certain things, like on someone's birthday or a certain holiday, like you have to post this like super long emotional thing. Like, no, if it's not there and like you don't actually like feel the things you're saying or like believe in them, like don't post it. It's not necessary.
No, it's true.
There's nobody needs to see that like you posted this.
Facade. Almost.
Those are the pages that become like the highlight reels of someone's life, as like, people say. But I mean, I think people utilize social media for different reasons too, throughout different generations as well. Like I think older generations are more kind of like that, like just special occasions and things like that, where we're more like, this is my life, put it out there, resonate, and like meet me where I am. You know,
definitely.
That's why I feel like I mean, like the like Instagram stories and stuff are like more of a younger generation thing. And like
so bad at that.
Because I feel like they're like real life. Like people post things that they're actually doing right now. Like it's not as much of like a highlight reel as if you scroll through someone's Instagram posts.
Like I feel like I don't even really post that much anymore on my personal page, where I used to post maybe like once a week before stories were created, and now I just love stories.
I do the stories all the time, and maybe I post like once every other few weeks now.
I would so much rather like scroll through all of my followings stories as opposed to scroll through up and down on my newsfeed. I don't know. There's just something about like clicking next and like scrolling down.
I mean, I'm sure most people did not give a crap about my bagel process this morning. I had to document it. I was very excited about these bagels. It's got a new stand mixer, and I was like, I need to use this.
It's amazing. I want some bagels now. Making me want bagels.
There are plenty of bagels in the kitchen from this morning.
So later. We'll break for snack. So I feel like your story is just so diverse, and it's brought you in so many different directions with different things. Do you have any major regrets along the way that you feel were major learning experiences for you? And if you do, how did you overcome them? And how has that solidified you on the path to where you are today?
I think, I tell myself I don't have any regrets, but when it comes to like certain things, I definitely do, where I've been in and out of like relationships since I was 18, and like I think the longest I was single was maybe 6 months. And I'd always put my education on the back burner for some dude. That's the one thing I regret, is giving them that power over me and not being able to put myself first, because I didn't have that confidence because they took it away. They would just suck it out of me and make me feel bad about it, and just made me feel bad that I wanted to go back to school, and make me feel old, even though I was like, this was like years, like no, it wasn't that long ago.
You're still not old.
No, I'm not that old. But like they just made me really bad about it. It's like that's definitely like the one thing I regret. And like now with my current boyfriend, with Mike, he gets it. He knows I'm doing this to better myself and us, and to put us in a better financial situation one day. So he gets it, and he's like, you deserve this more than anyone I know, and he is supportive about it, whereas in the past I just let men trample all over that confidence, and like just didn't make me feel intelligent. I mean, like I literally like broke up with a dude because he called me stupid and made me really feel bad about myself. Like he felt really bad. He's like, I was joking. I'm like, you weren't, like, I don't like being called stupid. Don't call me stupid.
Yeah.
And, like, this is just proving him wrong because I have 4.0 and, like, you know, so I'm like, I'm not stupid. You can go after yourself now.
Yeah.
Whoever you are.
Whoever you are, wherever you are.
Summer.
Take that.
Danny Zuko.
Yeah.
That's Danny Zuko summer. I'll say it was the Pokemon Go summer. Okay. Yes, it was. It was that summer. Yes. It was the Pokemon Go summer.
Okay.
We all find love during Pokemon Go, right? Sometimes it's really bad, right?
The most random people. Oh.
At 3 a.m., of course.
Sitting outside of a church or something on our phones.
Like, really? Just, like, I think about it now. It's like, how bizarre did we really...
It was weird. Do you ever, like, go down to Patchogue during that whole thing? Like, people were just, like
roaming around.
Walking around or, like, kneeling by a bench somewhere, like, trying to catch a thing.
Yeah,
so weird.
So funny.
I wonder if they imagined what was going to come of that when they, like, developed it. Like, did they have that vision of people doing these weird things?
Freak out when the servers would crash. Oh my
You see
God.
everyone everywhere go, like, oh my God.
There's a Charmander over there. Like, people are running across parking lots. I'll never forget that, ever.
Oh,
In
gosh.
Port Jeff, there was, like, a Charizard, like, in a bar.
You get a whole group of people storming in to get it.
No idea. Droves of people. It was, I was like, oh my God.
So crazy.
Terrifying. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I
Anyway.
remember some experiences like that. I actually worked in
Crazy.
a restaurant in Port Jeff during that time, and like seeing that through parking lots and just being a part. It's wild.
Yeah.
I don't think
Port
anything
South
else
was
has
my
really
place.
been that way. Like nothing else has really
No.
been created. That's
They
been that
did
way.
like the
Oh,
Harry
I
Potter
see.
one too. They developed like the
gross.
Harry Potter one, but it like didn't.
I'm pretty sure
I didn't even know
had a
that.
neighbor.
I want to know how many people out there are still playing Pokemon Go because for a while it was like literally everyone
Yeah.
and their mother, like everyone's parents were playing it. It was like literally everybody. If you never played Pokemon in your
Nah,
entire life,
my
you were
parents-
playing Pokemon Go.
My
Yeah.
parents were those parents who were like, these kids these days
Yeah.
walk around like zombies over here. They don't have to have phones. And meanwhile, like my mom, she can't get through a 30-minute dinner without her phone out. I'm
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like, excuse
Oh,
me.
trust me, that is
Hypocritical.
one of my biggest pet peeves
Oh, I hate
in
it.
the world.
Yeah, me
Phones
too.
at
Is
dinner.
having your
Yeah.
phone. Just even when you're like talking to somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't
Give
even
me your undivided attention and put that screen away. And
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, and I always if I have to like answer a text or something, like I always apologize. Like
Yeah.
if I have to take if we're having a conversation or talking and I like something comes up and I have to like answer it or like an email from work, whatever it is, I'm like, oh, sorry, give me 2 seconds and like I'll do it and like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
put it away. Like
Yeah, that's a
I
big
yell
pet
at
peeve
Lance
of mine,
all
too.
the time because Lance is famous for that.
Yes, Mike always has his phone out.
Oh.
Always. But he's just like, oh, for work. Like, if, like, I'm like, well, you know what? If you miss, like, a phone call when we're eating dinner, it's
You
okay.
could like call them back.
Yeah.
That's how a phone
It's
works.
fine. I was like, and if you just hear it going off, and again, like, clearly it's an emergency, go answer it. You know? Like,
Yeah.
like that one time, like, a dude drove through a Starbucks and he had, like, run in there, like,
Oh my
go
God.
fix the Starbucks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so,
crazy.
yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, I
It's
hate
really
that
crazy.
though. It's like, and I feel like I don't want to get in trouble for saying this, but I feel like it's a lot of like the older generation that does that with the phones, like because I feel like we grew up with it so much that it's. I almost feel like everyone says like we're attached to our phones, we're attached. Yeah,
No,
I
it's
always
detached
have my
easier.
phone,
Yeah.
but I feel
Detach
like.
easier.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like they like discovered it like later on because
Yeah.
it didn't exist before.
Yeah.
And I feel like they get more obsessed about it than
Oh,
Yeah.
we
Or
do.
just more
Dude,
drawn in.
yeah.
Like I feel like I can more consciously detach from it, or like
Yeah.
shove it in the side of the mattress
Yeah.
and forget that it's there, or like leave it on the counter and be like, where did I put it? Like it's
Yeah.
not like always literally physically on me.
I always laugh too because like if I have my
Which
phone
also
like on a
makes me the worst
table.
texter.
Yeah, oh.
Same. Oh,
Yeah.
don't even go.
Definitely,
Three times
definitely.
I've tried making plans with friends over the past 3 weeks. Rescheduling.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
You
I-
never see me.
I always laugh because like if I leave my phone like on a table somewhere and my dad walks by and like it goes off, he's like, "Your phone went off." I'm like,
Okay.
"Great!" Like I'll see it in a couple minutes when I pick up my phone.
Yeah.
You get so weird. But
What advice would you give your younger self? You've touched a lot upon confidence and not letting people stand in the way of that or take away your dreams or your vision. What advice would you give people going through similar things as you?
Oh, there's a lot of things I would say.
I would write them a book.
Maybe you should.
Maybe you should.
Write a book of my really bad experiences. But it's just... do not let someone take that power away from you. Do not let someone trample on your confidence, because you are worthy and you are worth everything that you want. You deserve everything that you want. Don't let, especially a man that is going to be in your life and make it hell for years. Do not let that happen. Girl, run. Girl, run. Focus on you. I mean, even like when me and Mike get into like tiffs, I literally go in the bedroom and like do homework, because I focus on myself.
Yeah.
Just focus on yourself. Make yourself a better person that you want to be. Don't do it because, don't do what someone else tells you to do. Mm-hmm. Don't let them take that confidence away from you, ever.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think, I don't know, once we can get past that and really solidify our confidence with anything that we're doing, or just, with ourselves in general in life, it just empowers you to be so much more and get so much more of what you want,
Yeah. Oh, and find a support system that's, solid. Have a solid support system. They will get you through it. Yeah. Don't have a flaky friend support system, who is just gonna hang out with you when you want to drink, Mm-hmm. So don't have a solid support system. Know who's on your side and who isn't gonna be on your side, or who's gonna use stuff against you, who's gonna let you down. Just always have that support system. But even I lost 2 of my best friends, who were a huge part of my support system, and I'm making it through without them. So, yeah, the friendship fell apart and everything, which was probably the worst heartbreak I think I've ever been through. Friendship heartbreaks are terrible.
They're very different.
It's so bad. I'm still grieving it, and it ended I think back in May. And it's still painful. I still think about them all the time. And we all just went our separate ways. But, it was just, they are the ones who really pushed me to get back to school. And, honestly, I wish them the best. And I hope, and I thank them for, making me feel good about myself again, Mm-hmm. They really did. They made me feel so much better about myself in a way I didn't think existed. They were my hype people.
You need that hype team.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I wore lingerie in front of them. I was like, is this cute? Is this good? I never in my life have been like that.
Yeah.
So that loss of that friendship really, really hurt for a long time. Still does, but I'm doing so good.
Yeah.
And
I feel like people are put in your life at certain times for reasons. I mean, a lot of times you don't ever find out what those reasons may be, or you don't maybe connect it, but in this situation,
it's clear.
Yeah, and even with everything that you've been through, I mean, how cool is that you've come to the point now where why you had to go through all of those things. You can look back and say, that's why I had to have that experience, and so much of it
I'm Charlie Day with the red string. Connecting all the dots.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, I always live by, everything happens for a reason, and so many times you never know what that reason might be, but it's so cool when you do have that clear picture of why that had to happen and why you had to go through that.
Yeah, I think it's really nice when you can be in the middle of it and feel it, and recognize it and be like, okay, this is going to be so much clearer once this is over.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I definitely know, seeing them move up in their careers, pushed me to want to do better for myself. And like they gave me that confidence back, you know, that I really desperately needed back. And yeah, without them, I definitely don't know if I would have enrolled. Like they're the one who clicked the submit button on that computer. Yeah. They're like, submit. And I was like, oh, I guess I just did this. It's real now. Yeah. I'm in school.
There's something about like surrounding yourself with inspirational people who are maybe a step or two ahead of you or closer to whatever your goal may be. Just to have someone to look up to and say, oh, well, they did it. Why can't I do it? You know, this is what they faced through this situation. So how do I avoid that or whatever? Just surrounding yourself with like-minded people or people who can like motivate you in that way is super important because it really is true. I feel like I always heard that when I was younger. You become just like the people you surround yourself with, whether that be your family and you hold on to generational traumas or whatever it may be that you are facing because of your family life, or whether that be friendships and people are just going down really crappy paths in life and you're exposed to that. It's what you become no matter how hard you try to go against the grain. If you can't see someone else doing something better, then how are you ever supposed to become that, you know?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely agree. Yeah, I owe a lot to them, and like, yeah, it's just, it sucks, but it's not like, there's no like animosity there or hard feelings. It's just sad. You know, it's just sad that we didn't understand each other on an emotional level that we needed, you know, out of each other, and we couldn't provide that for each other, basically. But, you know, for them trying, like, you know, pushing me to go back to school was, you know, major. You know, Mike, my boyfriend, he was always supportive about it. You know, he's just worried. You know, he's like, don't want you to get too overwhelmed. Don't want you to get too burnt out. So, like, I get his perspective. I do. I'm just like, the risk will be worth it. You know?
Yeah.
But
risk
like,
reward.
Yes, but I'm also trying to think, like, all right, well, I also have to live in the present. You know? Like, I have to deal with this, what's in front of me right now. You know, and if the dogs are being crazy, or if it takes me an hour and a half to cook dinner, clean whatever messes, clean the house, you know, take on the chores, because he works 7 days a week, and it's just, and then I finally, like, sit down to do homework when he comes home from work at 8 o'clock at night, and then we don't spend time together. Yeah. So it's, like, really, really, like, again, that balance is hard.
I've been facing similar issues recently, too. Do you think that there's anything that you've implemented through your day-to-day process that's really allowed you to get a better hone on managing your time?
I mean, bringing my laptop to work definitely has knocked out like some of the reading for school. Not all of it, some. But day to day, I mean, I give my dog CBD now.
Which a little. That's great.
I feel like it's an hour or two after they eat dinner, I give them some CBD. And we're like, you know, goose frappa everyone, like, take a nap, like, mommy needs to do homework. Like, you know, it's funny, my brother's like, you work so hard. He's like, when I stayed with you for that week, you were up at 4:30 every day, taking care of these psychotic dogs.
Yeah, it takes a lot of dedication and time.
It's like, it's literally like toddlers. It really is.
Yeah.
I know. I know. But yeah, like day to day, you know, time management is something like I've always struggled with. You know, like yesterday, I knew I wanted to be done with my homework before he came home. Didn't start it until he came home. You know, I'm like, what did I do? What did I do today?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, I did clean out the whole closet, but then you'd take me 3 hours? Probably not. Probably didn't need to take me 3 hours, you know. I'm like, oh, I cleaned the whole kitchen. Probably shouldn't have taken me that long either, that, you know, few hours. So it's just like, managing my time better is what's been really difficult for me. And him too. But I think for us, in our situation, we need to, like, be meticulous and, like, have a planner. I bought one. Of
Me too.
My planner. And just like, well, this is my schedule. This is what I need to get done. please write down your schedule, and then we're going to find collective time where we could just, like, sit outside and have, like, a fire one night. Or
and you have to commit
barbecue
to that.
together.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Like, we don't have to go out and do something.
Yeah, you just need to be able to physically be able to be together.
Without those distractions.
Like you said before. Yeah.
Yep, 100%.
Even if it's just sitting on the couch. Like.
Yes. Yeah, which is most of the time easy. Sometimes it's a little difficult, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it's really hard when you
don't
have.
Put a show on that I like.
Yeah.
Don't do it, please.
Yeah.
Don't put Unsolved Mysteries on. Don't do it.
Yeah. Or when you're just trying to take care of a home and you're like in the home or your kids are there and there's so many things and you're like, as a woman being pulled to all of those like gender role things and you're like, how do I just sit on this couch? How do I not get up and like...
I'm looking at that thing over there that needs to be cleaned up and that thing and that needs to be put away.
I forgot to put this in the fridge. Like, how do I not go do that and just sit still right here? So sometimes, it's necessary to get out. But I think there's real importance in learning how to sit still and be with your spouse and be in your home.
Hard.
And it's really difficult.
It can be hard. Like, something that came so easy before, like...
Yeah.
Isn't called stressors, but, like, different experiences.
Yeah.
You know? It's something that came so easy is now... It's a challenge to get in, you know?
Oh, I think that's so strange how, like, that particularly in some areas of your life is the simplest thing to just sit around. Like, when you're a teenager and you can just, like, chill and do whatever. Yeah. There's, like, not many responsibilities, or you're not paying attention to the responsibilities the way you do when you get a little older. And now it's just, like, almost impossible. It's, like, constricting.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Like, you know, for me, like, I paid my own bills since I was, 18. And it's just, like, that's, like, another thing was, like, I've been on my own for so long, and, I've always, like, had to just look out for myself. So, like, now I'm just, like, I need to take someone else's feelings into account that actually does care about me. Yeah. You know? So it's such a different dynamic, where it's not me being selfish, it's just me being in that mind state. You know, where he's in that mind state, too, sometimes with, like, when it comes to, like, financial aspects,
Sure.
It's like, teamwork, babe, remember, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to buy a house. We're going to buy a house.
Molding your thought process and, like, the way you function on a daily basis into something totally different because you have someone else to care about that cares about you now. It's very challenging.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's, like, the same thing, like, going back into that circle of, like, me deciding to go full-time. That was, like, a really big discussion we had to have. My therapist, our couples counselor was like, don't do it. And, like, I started crying because I was like, I deserve this. And I really want to do it. And she was like, I didn't go finish my degree until I was 46. I was like, I don't want to be 46. Yeah. I don't want to be working at 87.
I need to reach the goal now.
She's 87. And I'm like, I don't want to work when I'm 87.
Yeah.
I don't want to work that old. I don't want to do it.
That's amazing.
Wow. Yeah, how is she doing that? My
she
goodness.
made it until all her kids were out of the house.
Bless her.
Wow. Bless her, yeah.
Like, holy crap. I was like, I know. I feel like I've just been so patient for so long, and I've been through so much traumatic stuff, and I just feel like I want this so badly.
Yeah.
I want it so badly.
And you deserve it.
Yeah, I definitely deserve it. And, like, that's something I'm also trying to tell myself, like, I deserve this. And I deserve this. This is not going to be a burden. Like, I can't look at my education as this is being a burden at all.
Right.
Right. This is something that's going to be, like, give me big rewards and a lot of debt.
Yeah.
Well, it reminded me of something I saw. I think I saw, it was like a quote on Instagram or something. But it was, change your perspective from I have to do this to I get to do this.
Yeah.
And
I feel like that's been what's carried me through my entire life.
Yeah.
Like that, I think I saw
get
that
to have
quote
this
when I was
opportunity.
like 13 or something, and I just think back to that constantly. I don't think I would ever get through anything that I've ever been through without having that mindset.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's like you need to remember how privileged you are to have an opportunity to go to school.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I remember actually writing a paper about that in like 9th grade, like creative writing or something like that. Miss Tui.
Miss Tui.
Yeah. I remember that vividly. And it's like, it's so true, because when you think about how other people don't even have the chance to make the decisions that you're making and have the opportunities that you have, or create the opportunities that you're able to create for yourself because they live in a certain place in the world, or they were born into a certain life, or whatever it may be, like, it puts you in a totally different position when you're thinking about your problems.
Yeah.
And then it's not as, like, stressful and, like, oh, poor me. It's like, oh, I'm privileged and I need to remember that, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have to, like, put myself in that check sometimes where I'm like, oh, this is just, I don't have the Alyssa don't do the pity party thing. Like, you have this opportunity, you know, where so many others don't get to have.
Yeah.
You know, so I have to always remember that too, where I'm just like, oh
We all do.
I'm like so stressed out, and like, but like in the bigger scheme of things, it's like, no.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that could be going on that
You
could
know,
be a whole hell of a lot worse.
And like, I tell myself this all the time, like, you were homeless for like a long time, like, you have been through abusive relationships, you've gone through really, really crappy situations with your family, you know, like, you have overcome all of this, so this small problem with financial aid right now is not going to get you down.
Yeah.
I was like,
You're
we're
getting
okay.
past this.
We're
You're
okay.
Yeah.
Don't yell at him. Not his fault.
Yeah.
Definitely.
This has been such a good conversation. I feel like...
Yeah. I guess, like, just in wrapping everything up, with everything you have going on right now with your program, where do you see yourself in, like, 10 years from now? Where do you ultimately, like, if you could make an ideal situation for yourself in 10 years, what would it be?
What's the vision?
Living in the Adirondacks.
Okay.
I love that. Keep going.
Keep talking.
I want to work for a nonprofit organization with LGBTQ adolescents, ones who are homeless or who are dealing with HIV/AIDS or whatever the trauma might be. That I better have both my degrees in 10 years. God, please, no more bad experiences from now until 10 years. Be great.
Get me through.
Get me through.
Yeah.
Don't expect to be a millionaire. But I definitely just want, I want that success. I want to be a better version of myself in 10 years. I want to be, you know, a more compassionate, a more, you know, not successful. Yes, I want to be successful. We all want to be successful. Mm-hmm. I want to be more fulfilled in 10 years. You know, I want to make a difference. I want to see a difference,
mm-hmm.
you know. I want to make a difference in, like, these kids' lives, you know, one way or another. Or if it's just like, here's a bagel for breakfast, because maybe you didn't eat breakfast, you know,
mm-hmm.
maybe you don't get to eat breakfast, you know, or like just something else, I don't know, but I just want to make a difference, and I hope in 10 years I get to do that. I hope in 10 years I could either work in a school or for a nonprofit, but either would be fine, whichever is willing to pay me. Hear me out there, please pay me. That's where I see myself in 10 years. I do. I would like to be upstate, specifically in Albany County, back to where it all started.
In a whole new capacity.
So new. It's still my favorite place. Yeah, just I want to start like a fresh chapter there, you know, and luckily Mike loves it too, so it's good. And I'm excited. So hopefully that's where I am in 10 years.
I hope that all happens for you.
Thank you. Me too.
You're on the right path. I feel like your mind is aligned, and you know you're getting yourself there. You're doing the right things. You're taking the actions, and
maybe like a baby or two. I don't know. Throw maybe a baby in there.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you so much, Alyssa. This has
Thank
been
you.
so invigorating and exciting having you here. Can you tell our listeners where they can find you if they'd like to connect, if they'd like to socialize and learn a bit more about you and your experiences?
You can find me on Facebook, Alyssa Marie Durante, or you can find me on Instagram, Miss Alyssa Love. And that is where you can find me, because I'm not on a lot of social media, but that is those two.
That's great. Alyssa also
Yes.
crafts. We didn't really get to that very
I
much
do
in this
craft.
episode, but we'll link to all of that in the show notes for this beautiful soul that we've had today for you. And any questions or anything that you have, any issues you have getting connected, definitely feel free to reach out to Katie and I. We're happy to help you out as well. Bye for now.